At 55, I was laid off from corporate America after decades of working for the same company. And I made the bold decision to walk completely away instead of diving back in, dusting off my resume, and trying to find another job within the same company or another company. Let's talk about how I knew corporate life was no longer for me and how stepping away gave me the chance to find my true purpose. Towards the end of my career, I worked for years in corporate leadership, doing what I thought was making decisions and delivering projects that would actually positively impact people's lives. But over time, I began to realize I wasn't actually helping anybody. I was just a cog in a machine that valued profits over people and kowtowing to Wall Street expectations. I was part of a team pushing corporate propaganda, and the worst propaganda of them all was having to look at my stellar employees and tell them, "Thank you so much for all of your hard work. Thank you for giving up your nights and weekends to deliver this project. Thank you for always having your team members' backs. Thank you for always pushing to try to do the right thing to help our customers. And your reward for all of that hard work, here's your 2% raise and your three-figure bonus, because all we did was meet Wall Street's expectations. We didn't exceed them. But don't worry, the CEO is still going to get his millions in cash and stock options." And that disconnect really made me question, why am I still here? I was working long hours pushing an agenda that didn't align to my beliefs and my values. And don't get me started on the 10 meetings before the meeting where we had to meet with our direct leadership to walk them through everything that we were going to tell the next level to make sure they approved of what we were saying and that we packaged that dumpster fire in the most positive light as possible. And heaven forbid we tell them that the project is going to cost $86 million and take us 36 months to deliver, only to be told, nope, sorry, we don't have that kind of money. We're going to give you $3 million and get it done in 2 weeks. And don't you dare say that that can't be done. Just smile and walk out knowing you've just been set up to fail. The emotional toll of pretending that I was actually helping people, when in reality, we were just focused on meeting Wall Street expectations and making a profit. It ate at my insides. It kept me up at night. The stress was so much that I really, really dreaded getting up in the morning and turning on that laptop. So in that moment of being laid off, I had to ask myself, is this something you can see yourself doing for another 10 years? So after hanging up from that layoff call, I turned to my husband, who looked at me in the face and said, "You know what? You've been laid off and you're not doing this anymore."
You just got laid off, huh?
Yes, but I'm sure I'll be able to reach out to my network and find something else.
Nope, you're done. You're not looking for another job. You've been working full time for almost 40 years.
So when the financial planner sat us down, told us, hey, you guys are in perfect alignment with what your plans have, with Michael still working and keeping your medical insurance, you're good to walk away. So I took my husband up on his option number 3, walk away, come and help me with my parents. And that's exactly what I did. I jumped feet first into helping him with his parents, and that's when everything changed. If you haven't been a caregiver, caregiving is very, very demanding because someone else's life is in your hands. Well, I jumped in. I had 2 people who I was actually managing. But even with that stress, it paled in comparison to the stress that corporate America heaped on top of me. I was no longer a corporate propaganda machine. I was actually really helping people, helping change their life, helping change the trajectory of their healthcare, and helping them live in their home as they wanted. Seeing my father-in-law's health improve, even for a brief period of time, validated that I had made the right decision. But something else happened that I wasn't expecting. I actually found as the stress of corporate America faded away, my health and well-being began to improve. I actually started to feel as if I was aging backwards. I was no longer having sleepless nights. I was no longer having stress acne. I was no longer having stress gut from having to gobble down food in between meetings and then stressing about what I can and can't say during that call. It was a wake-up call for me to see just how much work stress negatively impacted my well-being, because we all know how much stress is at work. But as you climb the ladder, your days at work get longer. So I'm now working 12 plus hours a day. And then the higher up you get, then you're also giving up your weekends and you're taking calls during your vacations. There's never any time where you're not away from the stress machine where you can actually concentrate on your health and well being. And true, every time that you interview or every time there's a corporate propaganda meeting, you're going to hear, we here at XYZ, we care about our employees and we value work life balance. Yeah, right. That's why every single time I stepped away from that laptop, I could hear the Teams pings or my cell phone would start ringing because the only time urgent matters arose was when I needed to take a quick potty break or I needed to grab something to eat before the next meeting. And heaven forbid I try to leave work 30 minutes early to go to a doctor's appointment, but is it really leaving early when I've already worked 11 and a half hours? Just asking for a friend. So after leaving the corporate grind, my body really felt the positive impacts of that stress leaving. And the two validations that I got that I was aging backwards were one, when my friend looked at me and said, "Oh, wow, what have you been doing with your skin? Your stress acne is gone." And the person who does my hair said, "Have you been dyeing your hair? You have a lot less gray than you used to have." And I don't believe that I have less gray. I just believe that the stress has left me and it's not coming in as fast as they were. So the secret is you want to age backwards, walk away from corporate America. So I've been away from corporate America now for about a year and a half, and it taught me what's really important in life, and that's my family and doing what my in laws and a couple other people in my family didn't do: plan for my future. Things that we tend to put on the back burner while we're climbing corporate America because we always think there's time to come back to that. So, this whole experience with my in laws and doing all of this behind the scenes stuff to give them the life that they wanted really solidified that I have a new passion and a new purpose in life. And that is to share these family stories with you all to help motivate you to see the importance of planning for your later years now, while you still have the mental and physical capabilities to do them. Because I've talked about my in laws a lot in previous videos, and every time I talk, a little bit more comes out. And so, what I'm sharing with you in this video is a little bit different because I'm starting to dive deeper into the reasons why they did what they did. And the reasons why they did what they did was dementia. Dementia robbed them of being able to see who they truly are and what they truly need. Dementia tells them that they are young. Dementia tells them that they are capable. So every time that we could go over there and we could see, hey, you need 22 light bulbs. Why didn't you tell us? They didn't tell us because their dementia told them, you got flashlights, you're fine. They're falling off of the back porch and they need a handrail, but they're telling us, no, we don't need a handrail because dementia tells them, you're fine. You can crawl up the stairs.
Mom, Dad, I know you want to continue living in this home, but we will need to do some renovations to make it safer for you.
We are not putting stair rails on the porch. That's for old people.
Son, we're just not ready for that. That's going to be a lot of construction.
They slip, they fall in the shower. They're pushing back on us. They don't need grab bars because dementia is telling them, you're fine. You only fallen once. Next time you fall, stick your hands out. And they think that these are reasonable things. They have low boy toilets. They have the world's lowest couch. They're having the hardest time getting off of them. Dementia tells them, you don't need a taller toilet. You don't need a taller couch. Just lower yourself onto the floor, crawl over to some piece of furniture and pull yourself up. Dementia tells them they're going to be fine, but they're really putting themselves in more harm's way because that furniture could fall on them. But dementia doesn't help them see all of the bad decisions that they're making. Dementia's telling them, you're young, you're fine, and everything that you figured out how to work around these limitations is 100%. And that is why I'm here to tell you, dementia can come at any time. We honestly believe dementia started setting in with them in their 60s, but we couldn't see it because of preservation deception, and we weren't there all the time. But once we moved closer, we started hanging out more, and we could start to see, thank goodness they had the trust that gave my husband power of attorney to step in and help them. Unfortunately, they didn't share it with us. They didn't even tell anybody really what was in their trust, but we figured out what was in there. We knew that there were springing powers of attorney, that he would be able to step in, and we had to steal it.
Dad, in the unfortunate event that I need to act on your behalf, having a copy of your trust would make it easier. Where do you keep it?
You can get it from the lawyer after we pass.
And if we hadn't stolen that, there's no way we would have been able to save them from themselves. So if you want to save yourself from your future self, get your paperwork together today. Talk to your family. Share with them what it is that you want for your life now while you mentally can tell them and you can make sure that they understand, because we never know when dementia is going to step in and tell you, stop eating and drinking, and then that way you never have to sit on the toilet again. So going forward in these videos, you're going to hear a lot more truths like that, because I think it's necessary to help you see what is possible. We always want to see pictures, we always want to see examples, because we always think these things can't happen to us because we're young, we're invincible. And then when dementia kicks in and tells you you're young and invincible and keeps telling you that, you can really put yourself in a world of hurt because you're listening to dementia. I do not want to see anyone go through the pain, the chaos, and the grief that my family has endured. I don't ever want to see anyone have to go to court and fight someone who's trying to steal their family's possessions because they forged a will, and you have to come up with the money to fight it because the courts will entertain it, even though it was signed, dated, and notarized 4 days after the person had passed. I don't want to see you lose your family members because a conservator stepped in and cut off ties from you, and then have that family member live the rest of their lives with strangers around them, no family coming to talk to them, make them laugh, hold their hand, comfort them when they're sick. Heaven forbid, not even be there when they pass. I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to live your golden years exactly the way you want, and I want your family to be able to be there by your side. So I can honestly say that leaving corporate America was the best decision I ever made, because the last 18 months, in my mind, even though it's been crazy busy with caregiving, even though I had to kiss Phil and tell him goodbye and comfort my husband and my mother-in-law through that tragedy, I know that for the last 18 months, I have helped more people by hugging them and holding them and sharing these stories with you than I ever did in my entire corporate life. And I don't regret walking away at all. Actually, I do have one regret. I regret that I didn't do it sooner. So if you haven't started planning for your future, get started now. And if you need help getting started, I'm going to leave a link to a free download in the comment section below of an estate planning guide that'll help you start to get your thoughts together and figure out what it is that you need so that you and your family don't have to experience what I and my family experienced. And before I wrap this up, I have a special message for my fellow midlifers who have found yourself caught up in this never ending cycle of layoffs and ageism out here in corporate America. Know this: your current situation is not your permanent destination. It may take you longer to bounce back and find a job or start your own business or figure out your side hustle or your gig work, but you are going to be okay. If you made it this far with me, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.